What up, you gorgeous anabolic heroes and elite athletes? Thank you for your awesome response on some of my previous videos. Your feedback has made my life so much better. Instead of hugging my legs so hard with my wife's legs, I keep looking through your comments at nights. So without further ado, let's get started with this video. It's easy for other people to see a big and muscular dude walking down the street and to automatically assume he's on steroids. Even if they do so happen to be on gear, building muscle while using anabolic steroids is still one of the toughest processes in existence. Anybody can lift weights, just as anybody can chug down a protein shake now and then and prep a few chicken breasts with veggies for the next few days. To truly commit yourself to a bodybuilding regimen, however, whether natty or not, you need to eat, sleep, and breathe the bodybuilding lifestyle. Bodybuilding is, without a doubt, one of the hardest sports and pastimes ever. You don't just train for an hour and then sit back and wait for your muscles to grow. Training is the easy part. It's the isolation, the endless food preps, the protein farts, the digestive issues, the bland chicken breasts, and the lack of a social life that many people struggle with. If you are dedicated to your craft, however, and want to get more from your training, we're going to look at what is Equipoise Cycle today. Equipoise is a very underrated steroid in the world of bodybuilding, and to help you get a better idea of what this steroid has to offer, we'll now give you a detailed overview to metaphorically sink your teeth into. Legal disclaimer: we do not condone or recommend the use of anabolic androgenic steroids, or any illegal drugs or hormones for bodybuilding purposes, or anything else for that matter. Steroids are dangerous. They can be fatal, and we can't recommend nor condone their use with a good conscience. While we aren't here to cast judgment on those that do choose to use them, we are in fact here to educate instead. If people do insist on using them, we'd rather they do so safely as possible, while knowing as much as possible about the drugs they are using. Today, we're looking at Equipoise. What is Equipoise? Equipoise is also known as boldenone undecylonate, and although this may sound harsh, it's actually a steroid used by veterinarians to treat horses and some cattle. In bodybuilding circles, however, it's used as a poor man's decadurabolin, though it has little in common with that steroid. This steroid is suspended in oil, so it's naturally oil-based. Though it provides similar benefits to Deca, Equipoise is actually almost identical to Anabol or Dianabol. It is identical, in fact, other than one small change. EQ doesn't have the same 17AA group as D-bol, and instead has a very long-changed ester attached to it. This makes it highly oil-soluble. This steroid is anabolic and androgenic and is renowned for its ability to boost muscle mass, muscle strength, athletic performance, and much more besides, such as turinabol. It's derived from testosterone like virtually all other steroids in existence, such as halotestin, cypionate, cystanin, and enanthate. Though it's often stacked with testosterone, it's actually a great alternative to testosterone, as it has a double bond which is attached to both carbon 1 and carbon 2. This double bond makes it one of the least androgenic steroids currently on the market. The good news here is that means that estrogenic side effects and estrogenic activity is also greatly reduced. It provides a slow and gradual release, which means that the aromatization is also suppressed. Aromatization is a process where testosterone is converted into estrogen within the body. This can cause all kinds of different side effects for bodybuilders. What is a testosterone equipoise cycle? If you're looking to transform your physique, Equipoise is a very popular steroid that is reported utilized by a number of pro bodybuilders around the globe. As mentioned, it's often stacked with testosterone to get maximum results, with testosterone cypionate generally being favored. If you're thinking of running to testosterone equipoise cycle, then you can get help from this chart showing up on your screen right now. Equipoise results. So what kind of results can users expect to enjoy when they use this potent little steroid? First and foremost, as we're focusing on AAS and bodybuilding, you will be pleased to hear that Equipoise does not disappoint as far as muscle growth is concerned. Users can potentially gain as much as 30 pounds of muscle with a 12-week cycle of this drug. Assuming, of course, that they train hard and that they eat the right foods and live a healthy lifestyle. For best results, it does stack very well with other steroids. Not only will you see muscle growth results, but you'll also see very noticeable fat loss reductions, which are why this drug is perfect for cutting cycles. Finally, as your metabolism will increase, you will also have more energy. So you'll be able to put more time and effort into your training sessions. It might not sound like much, but being able to squeeze out an extra rep or two could be the difference between a beast mode physique or a mediocre physique. Equipoise effects. Some of the main effects and benefits associated with using Equipoise include the following. 1. Muscle growth. First and foremost, when it comes to using steroids, normally you can expect some pretty awesome muscle building benefits and effects. Well, when it comes to Equipoise, this is certainly no exception. Those that use this steroid can potentially add as much as 30 pounds of muscle to their frames with one cycle. When stacked with other steroids and hormones, results will become noticeable within a matter of days. Obviously, the steroid doesn't work miracles, so if you're looking to build muscle and bulk up, you will need to be beating yourself in the gym with your training and, of course, eating right. If your anabolic diet and training are on point, however, you will see some very noticeable improvements to your physique by running an Equipoise cycle. 2. Health benefits. Interestingly enough, Equipoise can also provide benefits to the human body that are not related to aesthetics. Studies have found that this steroid can actually be used to help treat muscle-wasting diseases, as well as conditions affecting the bones like osteoporosis. 3. Improved athletic performance. Not only does Equipoise help to promote the growth and repair of muscle tissue, but it also has been found to significantly increase an individual's energy levels and overall levels of athletic performance. This steroid helps to boost metabolism, which not only burns calories, but it also helps to increase energy levels. The more energy we have, the harder we can exercise before we begin to tire out and become fatigued. It also helps to promote muscle strength and contractions, which in turn help the muscles to generate more power and to work more efficiently. If you combine all these benefits together, therefore, you'll find that using Equipoise will actually help you to perform at much higher level athletically. As your aerobic fitness will increase, your endurance will, and your overall strength and power outputs will as well. 4. Fat loss. Another reason why bodybuilders tend to favor this steroid is the fact that it has been found to promote fat loss. For a bodybuilder, being able to burn fat and lose fat is very important for a whole variety of different reasons. The main reason why bodybuilders may be looking to burn fat and lose weight, however, is because they often diet down when they are cutting and prepping for a contest. The idea behind a contest prep is that you strip away as much body fat as possible while preserving as much lean muscle as possible. You basically want to look lean, ripped, and vascular when you step on stage, and Equipoise is able to help you achieve this exact look. 5. Great for bulking. Okay, this steroid is very useful for cutting as it helps to burn fat, but there are many bodybuilders that prefer to utilize this steroid for bulking cycles instead. As we looked at previously, this steroid can be stacked with other compounds and can be used for bulking or cutting cycles. In terms of bulking, it's great because it promotes increases in muscle size, while also boosting energy levels and strength. This enables you to train heavy during the off-season, and the heavier you can train, the more muscle mass you'll likely be able to build. Equipoise side effects. We've looked at the good, now we're going to look at the bad, and the downright ugly. Yep, it's that time for us to now go over a few common Equipoise side effects that you will need to be aware of before you consider using this anabolic steroid. Side effects associated with this drug include 1. Mildly estrogenic. Okay, the good news is that this steroid isn't nearly as estrogenic as some of the other steroids often used by bodybuilders. The bad news, however, is that it is still mildly estrogenic. After injection, it generally doesn't aromatize very heavily, but there are still some estrogenic side effects to be wary of. For example, it can lead to water retention, elevated blood pressure, and tender nipples in men. Very rarely, gyno or gynecomastia could also be an issue. 2. Oily skin. Many users of this steroid have reported oily skin and even mild acne caused by the pores becoming blocked. 3. Organ damage. When you use any steroids, whether oil-based, water-based, oral steroids, or injectable steroids, there's always the risk of your major organs suffering damage as a result of the steroids being used. Your kidneys and the liver are at risk for starters, as they help to filter impurities out of the bloodstream, or in this case, the steroid itself. The heart is also at risk, especially if blood pressure becomes elevated. It may even cause fluctuations in LDL cholesterol, which can cause blocked arteries, so that it's certainly worth considering before using the steroids, especially if you already have cardiovascular issues. Equipoise dosage. We've already looked at the dosages when it comes to running an equipoise and testosterone cycle, but to refresh your memory and keep things nice and simple, let's look at the minimum and max dosages associated with this particular drug. Dosages start at 200 milligrams, with max dosages going up to 500 milligrams. This, of course, depends on which cycle you are running and what you are stacking it with, but it does give you an idea. PCT needed. So we've looked at what Equipoise is, the benefits, cycles, dosages, and side effects. All that's left for us to do then is to look at post-cycle therapy when running this drug. When you use a steroid of any kind, you should always run a PCT, such as Aromacin, no matter how mild a steroid may be or how careful you think you've been. PCT should come in the form of Clomid or Nolvadex. We can't tell you when to begin or how much to run because we don't know which cycle you're running. The best advice here is to look online or ask questions based upon what it is that you plan on taking.